Okay, you got it.
We are live. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and potential Toastmasters. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. My name is Ken Richardson. I am the Club Growth Director for District 115. I am your host today, and my co-host is distinguished Toastmaster, past District Director, Phyllis Tribby. Good morning, Phyllis.
Good morning, Ken.
And our guest today is Division D Director, Maria Ortiz. Good morning, Maria. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, we were discussing just before we went online here a little bit about your background and how long you've been in Toastmasters. And I know that you were also an area director last year. Is that correct?
It is, yes.
What led you to step up to leadership so early in your Toastmasters journey? You've been a Toastmaster since 2018, and already you have served as an area director and are now serving as a division director.
A couple years ago, I'm still a member of Pro Toastmasters, and Dara Wachovia was the area director. She volunteered to be area director, and she asked me if I can go with her to head to the boss to translate because she didn't speak Spanish. So when I went and visited, I understood the respect that they have for Dara and how much they were willing to listen just because she was the area director. So we went a few times and visited, and Dara was always very eager to speak at our club. If we were short on someone, she would have a project she was working on. She was advancing like really quick. She was working to get her DTM. And she got it, I believe, last year already. And it's because of the work that she was willing to do. She was just a hard worker. She was very kind to me and other ladies. So a lot of times when the contest on her club came along and we didn't have enough people, she used to say to me, Maria, why don't we compete? And I said, okay, Dara, let's do it. And she will, grab us together. And I remember one time on the contest, it was only women. It was 5 of us. And we were just so happy that day. We took photos, we hugged each other, and it was a lot of laughs. And a part of it is the energy that a person brings to you when they unite you. And that's who she was, a uniter. So I really love her example. And then she will share with us, whatever she knew about. And I remember her also sharing about the payback program. She told me a couple years ago, and I couldn't get in the previous year because they were already full, but I did get in this year, and it was a fulfilling experience. So anything she knew, she will share with us, and I got very inspired by her spirit.
What do you think you've learned most about leadership throughout your Toastmasters journey?
Well, my favorite word is service. When you serve with happiness, when you serve because you're happy to serve, it makes a difference. I work in a restaurant waiting tables, and the difference when you serve with joy is different when you serve because you're getting paid or because you were asked to do so. I received an email the other day, and it's someone who was asked to forward the email, and she said, "Here is as I asked to do so." And that way of working and doing things is not fulfilling. It's not fulfilling for the person who sent it. It's not fulfilling for the person who received it. So what do I do when I get that kind of message? I say, thank you, have a beautiful day. Because even when the person feels like they're doing something for you, they need something in return. So the ability to serve makes a difference. The better I serve my tables, the more tips I get. And it doesn't worry me how much money I get. What makes me happy is how much more I have to share. I'm always sharing with people that help me. So if I have more, then I'm happier to share more. If I have less, then I'm feeling like I'm sharing from my pocket instead of what they gave me. But that doesn't shoulder them from what they need to get because I appreciate their help so much. I would have not done it without them the way it's done. So we need to appreciate our helpers and to know that we all work together for a purpose, and that purpose is happiness.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit more about Division D. For those of you who may not know, District 115 has 4 divisions, A, B, C, and D. Very simple terminology there. And you are over Division D. So you have how many areas in Division D?
4.
Excellent. Can you tell us who are your area directors?
Yes, I have Tammy Green on D1. She has Library 2.0, Nubian Voices, Sorcerers Club, Windjammers, and then my D2 is Jane Dow. She has Toastmasters, Henderson Toastmasters, Holistics Toastmasters, I'll Drink to That, and Vegas Stars. And then Jan Richardson is D3. She has Colorado River, Sage Leaders, Saturday Morning Live, and UNLV. And my new director is C. Soulmate. And he has Ahead of the Curve, Gente de Voz, H&B Speak Easy, and Lambda Linguistics. So we are a full house of people ready to work.
Fantastic. It's always good to see Toastmasters step up into leadership roles, whether they're new or whether they've been a Toastmaster for a while. What plans do you have for your division?
To work together as a team and to do what we need to do as soon as possible. So I've been having committee meetings with them. In our last committee meeting, I told them that we need to do area reports. And I'd rather us do it as soon as possible and get it done instead of talking about we need to get it done. And they seem to listen. Jan Richardson already did her first area report. And I told her, oh my God, Carol is gonna be happy and the tree is gonna be happy because I don't think any other division has done a report already. So our intention is to help leading and wherever we can with an example. So we're setting an example for others to follow, and our intentions are to do the best we can as fast as possible.
Do you think the clubs are having more difficulty recruiting new members in the current environment? I know we are once again looking at a resurgence of the Delta variant. So that has, in some respects, put a hold on many of our clubs who were looking for, in-person venues. Now maybe rethinking that. So how do you see recruitment going forward for our clubs in this environment?
We definitely need to do more work. So part of the committee meeting we had yesterday, Tammy shared with me that in her club, they're having a hard time getting people together now on Zoom. So she's looking for a venue. She said the last meeting they had 2 people that came to the meeting. So they're really like not interested in virtual anymore. And she also was concerned with the fact that it's too hot out there to be meeting every week. So we recommended that they meet bi-weekly. And I also told her that it's very helpful for our club when you as the president or someone who sets the plan has a plan in mind. What are they working on? So I told her, for example, that in a National Speakers Association, the theme for the year is Elevate and Accelerate. So we're all working around it. And I said, when you give people a theme, you will be surprised in how creative they are when they study it, when they get in tune with it, when they express it. I said, every person is going to view it in a different way, but when they're focused on something, then they will work around it.
Have your clubs expressed difficulties in finding a venue, or is there a category of classes like restaurants or maybe churches or libraries that are very open to having Toastmasters clubs meet there? What areas have you seen success?
Well, one of my clubs is Saturday Morning Live, and we recently were talking about, Steve Goldstein mentioned there is 3 members that will not join unless we have a venue. So we started searching for venues, and this is what came out, is that some places are expensive, we will run out of the funds kind of quick. Also, the concern is that if you have to meet at a restaurant, will the restaurant require that people buy food? That would be like you pushing another expense on the member. The other one is the noise part of a restaurant. If you're very close to the dining room, there's usually music being played. And also it's loud just because it's loud, like the dishes that we serve at a restaurant make a noise and they're constantly broken. We're like so much in a hurry that it's very common to hear plates crashing on the floor. So what we found that the best option is dealerships that have extra rooms and allow the public to use them for a low cost or free. That was what we came up with. And that's what I would recommend to someone to find, because it's usually the easiest option, and it is convenient because they do have Wi-Fi. So when you're connecting to the meeting, it is important that you get it, otherwise the connection is lost and you're not really offering quality to someone who might be in another country or another state.
So car dealerships, huh? That's a good venue. I know we do have, and we have in the past had a number of car dealerships that have graciously allowed us to use their facilities. I'm curious though, Saturday is typically a very busy day for, because you mentioned Saturday Morning Live, is a very busy day for car dealers. Have you succeeded in securing a venue for Saturday Morning Live?
If a car dealership has extra rooms, like on their second floor that they're not using where the public is, then we can. And also because the meeting is kind of early, it's 10 to 11:30. So I know that they found a venue already. I'm not sure that it is a car dealership, but it works for other people that, let's say you meet like a Tuesday night or Wednesday night, you know, they're not so busy. And as long as they're not having a meeting, they will allow you to use it. And Toastmasters, we used to use the 215, the Superstore, 215 Superstore, and it was a car dealership. And the reason why we got the room is because one of their managers was a Toastmaster in the past, and he understood that we're not people that get the place duty. So he said we can have it for free as long as they're not having a meeting. And it was never a day when they will say we cannot have it because they're having a meeting. So we were very lucky on the part, and it was it had a TV, it had a computer we can connect to, so it was very Wi-Fi accessible.
And I think I heard you say that most of these are free. There's no charge.
Yes, or there will be lower cost than other venues. We started looking, and Jan Richardson told me about a couple of them. It was like $30 or $40 an hour. That is the rate you're gonna find in libraries and other places that rent rooms. And a lot of times these are all places that don't have a good smell because they're not maintained. So if you take people there, it's not gonna be a pleasant experience. I believe in a place being clean and also organized, but also the smell of it is important. If it's old, if it's not maintained, you know, people don't feel comfortable.
Gotcha. Well, Phyllis, I'm going to turn to you now and see what questions you might have for our guest.
Well, I want to say that your philosophy on life certainly is one that we all can take to heart. I want to talk about visiting. Will you be visiting all of the clubs in Division D, some of them, or do you have plans for that?
Yes, I do. I want to visit because I understand the importance of human connection. It is different when you send someone than when you go and present yourself. So I can send an introduction email and send my photo, but sending me as a presence and sending me as a person is different. So I do need to be there. I gotta plan my times and see when I can visit, and even arrange visits even outside of the meeting. The problem with me is timing. I work evenings, and a lot of the clubs meet on the evening. I also work Saturday mornings. Sometimes now I requested it off. So part of it is that I need to find a way to switch with someone so I can have that time off. But definitely looking forward to meet people. I love meeting people in person because you advance so much quicker. It's told that if you are planning to have a date, you will go advancing what 100 dates are, whatever way is connecting besides in person, if you go in that one day in person. So the ability to connect and the energy that we bring into the people who connects to us, it's very unique. It's the very essence of you, what you're sharing. So it is very important that we create those human connections.
Well, I look forward to you visiting my two clubs, since one is at noon, or well, 11:30 on Mondays, and one is on Friday morning at 8 a.m. Sounds like they're in your off time. So
yes, if you
yeah.
like to send me a Zoom link, I will be glad to connect.
Oh, certainly, I will do that for both of them. So that would before the show started, we talked a little bit about contests, and that we used to have 2 contests every year. What would you think of a division contest? I know it can't go on to district. Maybe it can't go any further, but not, you know, Toastmasters wouldn't agree to it, of course. So we have to do it, as a small thing rather than nationwide. Do you think we could have a contest or at least a get together in the division?
I think it will be very interesting to unite people that way. I'm going to the educational speaking contest this Friday. They have an inspirational contest. It's 5 to 7 minutes. I'm excited to be there. I'm thinking about how am I going to write the speech. I think it just brings unity, and we do need that in these times. I've seen people getting very sick of COVID and dying, so it seems like they're dying quicker than they did when COVID started. So we need to bring people hope. And I think that's what the contests do. They bring people hope, and they also promote unity. How many people we need to get for judges and voters and everybody who needs to be there. It's the gathering of, it's like when you make a party and a baby is being baptized and everyone is so happy. Why? Because we're celebrating something very simple, and it's very simple, but it's also very big. It's the beginning of our life coming in contact with us. So when we have a contest, everyone has something to celebrate, and that's what they talk about. Is what their heart is feeling, what their mind will dream of if it was a perfect day.
It sounds good to me. I'm willing to push that contest on all of my clubs. See if I can get some people there to compete. The other thing you mentioned was your committees, that you're working at having your area directors. I was started to say governors. I'm still not governors, directors in meetings. Previously, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, one of the division directors had their monthly meeting, but they also had an educational part to it. Will you find people to help educate your directors?
I haven't searched for, kind of what I'm doing is that I'm telling them my experience of last year, what I see that has changed. Like, for example, on the reports, now it has a rating of stars. You select a number of stars to give a qualification to the club. And I was sharing with them that wasn't there last year. So the systems are always being updated, and I tell them the differences that I see and the struggles that I encounter, how people reacted to the report when I send it and they got the notification. Sometimes there was a club that they will argue with me. That is not the day that you visited. This is not right. And it will be information that I took out of the website. So sometimes it can be wrong. I remember my first report I turned into from Colorado Rivers, it didn't go through. So sometimes there are glitches with the technology that we could probably fix it. We call customer service. I found out through Jan Richardson that you can call and actually talk to a person and they got really good customer service. So grabbing the phone and talking to someone might be the solution you're searching for, because I find out that clubs have issues with their levels not being properly not completed but accredited. Like someone wrote to me a couple of days ago saying that he got a level in another path that he's not working on. He got accomplished level 1 in effective coaching and he's working on presentation mastery. So it is a mistake that needs to be fixed, and I recommended that he call customer service.
Excellent, excellent. You talked about the area director reports. They don't know how easy they have it. When I was an area governor, there were, I think, something like 37 clubs, and you had to put in 37 reports before you hit submit. There was no adding to or subtracting from. So bear in mind, there's mistakes, but they certainly have improved. I'll say that for them. There's been improvements over the last 24 years, believe me. What else would you like to tell us about your clubs and about your directorship and what you plan for Division D?
Well, I see my club up and running. You know, the girls are going. So I got Tammy, Jan, and Jane. They're all like very conscious about visiting. I remember the second meeting, I asked them how many times they visited their clubs. And Tammy said she had visited 2 times one of the clubs. I said, well, you might want to do an area report already because 2 visits will probably be enough. She said, no, this won't be fair. She said, because the first time I visited, they weren't ready. And I want to give them the opportunity to give me a better impression. And I don't think that will be fair. So I want to visit like at least a couple more times. And I was happy about that because sometimes for area directors it's hard just to find the time to go. And hearing that they are so conscious about helping the clubs and giving them chances to show them more, to me, it gives me such a respect for their way of serving, you know, for the ability to serve and just be given and give the best advice to the club. So we have been having meetings every week, but Carol Campbell recommended that we could probably need to have them now every couple of weeks. But my main goal was that they are up and running and ready to go. And if they have something that they are struggling with, I will find a way to help them. And it can be their club or one of the clubs they're visiting or something they don't understand about the technology part of it. Then if I don't know the answer, I'll find it.
I think that's a great attitude, and I would thoroughly agree with your area directors. Toastmasters International says twice a year, but if you want your clubs to be successful and be willing to help you, you got to be there more frequently and be willing to help them a lot along the way, because it's like a give and take. And I always thought that I personally knew the members of my clubs and that I could ask them to do extra, but I had to be there and know them. So I think that's great that your directors are already taking that attitude.
Let me jump in. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Didn't mean to. Go ahead, Maria. You go ahead and comment.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is like Jane Dow is very excited to be there again. And she says that what she learns from the clubs, she's appreciating very much. Whatever she finds that it works, she says, I want to bring it to my club. So they're also getting.
I think that's a great point. It's one of the things that is a real, I guess, bonus for being an area director or a division director is when you do visit these clubs, you learn new things. And some things may be applicable to your home club and that can help enhance the quality of that club. So that's another benefit of moving into district leadership. I want to go back to something you said. You said you really liked contests. Do you happen to have a favorite? Is it humorous or tall tales or table topics? What's your favorite contest?
I like the inspirational contest when people have something to tell you to look forward to. It's kind of like someone telling you their dream. You know, I can think of Martin Luther King. He had a dream. So what was the dream about? It was unity, right? So I think that's why I decided to join. So I was watching Wake Up with Toastmasters when Wesley was on, and he's talking about the contest, and I'm already going to my email writing, I want to compete. And that's what I put on the title. Because it was very exciting. So to me, it was more of the international contest. I competed once at the humorous contest, and I find it very hard. The hard part of the humor is that it's measured by the laughs. And when you don't get them, it's like almost like you're failing. And what happens sometimes is when this is the hard part of humor. People who are very smart don't laugh. And the reason why we don't laugh is because we are not thinking on the joke. We're thinking on the intention of the joke, how the person sounds, and maybe the joke will click later on, but it doesn't click right away because we're very analytical. So it's hard to make smart people laugh, and we have a lot of smart people. So my advice is if you're going to give a talk with smart people, you gotta find a way where you don't give them a chance to think. If you give the smart people a chance to think, they will not laugh. So the jokes are needing to be something that happens in everyday life that they can relate to, that they can see themselves on.
Well, I
That's
think
my favorite
that's a
club.
great plug for Educationally Speaking. That club has sort of been innovative in offering various contests periodically. And I think that helps when you have that kind of creativity and you vary the club experience. It can be terrific for sort of a shot in the arm for you and your members. Well, as I look at the clock, it looks like we have about 6 minutes left. I do want to leave some time at the end for some announcements. So Phyllis, do you have any final comments or questions you'd like to ask of Maria?
Well, I would like to state that Jane Dow was at our club yesterday, Holistic, did installations, and she has a new script that she got from Jan Richardson, and we love it. So promote that throughout your directors. It's a great script. She goes through all the information, and then she has all of the directors, you know, pledged to take care of their particular thing. So if you've not seen the new script, I highly recommend it.
I'm going to have to meet this Jan Richardson person. She sounds like she's really on top of everything.
Could be she's being influenced.
Maybe. Maria, in the last minute or so here, do you have any final message you'd like to send to our viewers?
Yes, I'd like to tell you the importance of meeting with your team. Whatever team it is that you have, you will be amazed of how much you learn from each other and how much they do for each other. Jan Richardson made that script smaller and more to the point where it will be so much helpful. And we had the meeting yesterday, and Jane was so grateful that she did that. So once when you are able to help others, they're able to help you. So it's a give and take, like Phyllis said earlier. I encourage people to do that. Meet however you can.
Okay, I'm going to have to change my last name so people don't confuse the two of us. Well, I want to thank you, Maria, for being here today and sharing with us your experience and your insights. As always, Phyllis, it is a pleasure. In terms of announcements, I want to remind everyone that we do have the international contest coming up. It's going to be online this year. And if you haven't registered, please do so at the TI website. There are many portions of the event that are free. If you pay $25, you have what's called total access to all of the events. One caveat I want to remind you is that all times that are on the agenda, when you go and look at the agenda, are Eastern times. So you'll have to adjust for our time zone. That's going to be a little bit different. If it starts there at 9 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock our time. So don't forget to adjust for the appropriate time zone. The other thing I want to remind everyone is we have Educational Enrichment Night, and that is the second Saturday of every month. That's been a very, very successful program created by our program quality director, Gene Williams. This is 2 hours of classes. It's totally optional, but we cover such things as we have an hour new member orientation. We have a 1 hour program on introduction to pathways. We're going to have programs on how to get your club on Meetup, how to build your Facebook page, a whole host of different types of educational opportunities. And that's on the second Saturday of every month at 6 p.m. And don't forget game night. I think this time it's actually going to be this Saturday, the 21st, or said next Saturday, the 21st, because of the upcoming Toastmasters convention, which starts on the 23rd. If you have questions about these or any other events, please feel free to send me an email at d115cgd@gmail.com. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you've gained a little bit of insight from our program. And if you have any questions, again, send me an email and we will see you Thursday. That doesn't mean that Wake Up with Toastmasters won't be here. It's here every Monday through Friday, starting at 6 a.m. On Mondays and Fridays, our host is Program Quality Director Gene Williams. On Wednesdays, Public Relations Manager Jennifer Smith, and Phyllis and I on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So have a great day, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.